Arts. All right, so they had a new collection that just came out a couple weeks ago, and it's a really fantastic and fun-filled collection. So I thought I would show you how to use all the pieces, and explain all the pieces and how they all kind of work. You can work them with individually, or you can work them with together. And we're just going to play dress up this evening. That's what we're going to do. All right, so. Hello for those that are joining us on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Say hello in the comments so I can see that my comments are working. And we're going to get started in a minute or so as the eyeballs are finding us. So there are a few dies we're going to do in a stamp set here, and I want to explain. I did show some samples in I think one of our happy hours when the products first came out. And these are really, really fun. All right. So, and I just thought these, to me, these are great for masculine cards, but for me, I struggle always with cards for those kind of late teenagers, the 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds, like they're just you know, they're you can't do anything too masculine for the guys, and we always do florals for the girls and all that. But I just find this collection just hits that target so well. And I'm going to show you different ways of using this. All right. So hello everyone. Thank you for saying hello. The comments are working, which is awesome. Okay, so there is a bunch of product I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show them in different ways. Some of them are going to use together, some of them are going to use individually. All right, so please, don't get overwhelmed by all the product that's here. I just couldn't control myself. That's all. All right. So, because once you start designing and planning, you'll see how wonderful these sets are. And yes, so Amy is saying she can relate. Her son is 19, and I'm at a loss for masculine cards. I have a 24-year-old, and yes, sometimes he just doesn't get a card because I'm just you put on it, right? Like, yeah. So I think this set is going to be kind of awesome. So let's just talk about what we have here. So first of all, this is the jean jacket die. OMG. All right. So I'm a big fan of jean jackets. I probably own way too many. And I'm sure my husband can attest to that. But this is a really great because it just doesn't do a jean jacket. It will actually do a button down shirt. All right. It will do a jacket. You can do the front, you can do it back. All right. So there's a lot of versatility in this one. And when it's done, it looks so realistic. It's so cool. Now, this is a bundle deal. All right. So this comes with the die that you see here, but then it also has a layering stencil. And this layering stencil allows you to do all that kind of detail work to make it look like a denim jacket. But it's really cool because you get the stencils that will do kind of the back of the jacket. And then you also have the stencils that will do the details on the front. All right. So it's kind of cool because you can pick and choose how you want this. And I have some great samples to show you how you can use this as a button down shirt as well. So that is one thing we're going to do. Then the other one, and this is the suspenders from Hero Arts. This is just, oh my gosh. I showed it. I didn't bring my samples from the store, unfortunately. But I did one, and we did rainbow suspenders on it. And it just reminded me of Mork and Minnie. I guess I'm dating myself, but for those that know Mork and Mindy, Mork had those rainbow suspenders on. And that's what this one reminded me of. But I'm going to show you how to do this to make a really kind of classy card. But you also got these extra elements on there. You've got 3 different collars, all right? So you can do collared shirts, all right? So you can see how this is a really masculine kind of feel because you're getting those collared shirts to make those cards. You have suspenders, you have a little bow tie. I'm going to show you different ways on how to use this one this evening, all right? So this is really cool. Ruby says she likes that there's not a lot of dies. Ruby, that's why I really love these 2 sets because you get a really instant gratification from these ones because there's not a whole lot of work to do with these ones. All right. They're detailed that enough that, just using them very simply creates a very effective card front. So you'll see that this evening. All right, so those are the two I'm going to be using. And then there's this one here, which is really kind of screaming to that younger generation. Now, I say that, but um, you know, for those that have gone to Disney, you know how you have your lanyards and you collect Disney pins. Pins are kind of a thing, and these are the little flare pins, and these ones are pretty cool. So we're going to be using them as a decorative element, but they're really fun. Actually, we had. During March break, we had grandma came in with her grandkids, and one of the boys was asking, "Do you have anything sports?" And I went, "No." I looked around the store, and he found this one, and I think Grandma got, because it does have some sports themed on there, but it really creates these fun little enamel pins that you can make for your jean jacket, for your suspenders, for your t-shirts and such. But they're also great little charms as well. So last week, Sherry from Paper Crafters Workshop was on with the little tote bags, the person, and that these would work well on those as well. And then that is a standalone die. And then we're going to pair it up with the totally awesome stamp and cut set from Hero Arts for our sentiments this evening. That's radical. You're totally awesome. You're one of a kind, and you've got flair. And that is a stamp and die cut set. All right, so that's where my sentiments are coming from. But my main focus is on that jean jacket and the suspenders die. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to start. I did all the die cutting ahead of time because I I honestly have like 4 or 5 cards planned for this evening, so I wanted to go smoothly. So I will talk about how I die cut all the things. All right. Um, so let me just pull out this one now. Okay, so I'm just going to run that to the side. Now, actually, let's talk about this. So to create the suspenders on here, there are two of these dies here. All right, so let me just get that in camera view. All right, so they basically cut rectangle strips, all right, with the little indentations on there. All right, so it's almost like kind of the elastic on these suspenders. You have 2 of them, so that's the base of the suspenders. And then the wider ones that you have here will cut the individual strips so that you can do multicolored suspenders. All right, and then you just glue them right on top of it. Because these have the debossed lines on there, it makes lining up really, really easy. So I love the fact that they gave you the 2 and the 2, because then you only have to run it really through your machine once, right? Which is awesome. Then you have the bow tie. Then you have, I'm going to call this I call it the rugby style shirt, only because I'm going to be doing one. You have the t-shirt collar, and then this other collar as well. And then this little here are the little clasps on the suspenders, all right, which is pretty awesome. All right, so honestly, when it goes together, they look like real suspenders. So that's the die. All right, so let's just get started. And I'm going to show you first how you can use the suspenders in different ways, those stripes. All right, I don't know about you, but I see a lot of color blocking um, in our card industry right now, where they just do strips. I have a little sample here. I was working on a project yesterday, but when they do color blocking, all right, so cutting strips and creating this kind of block of color. This is alternating colors, all right. So this die here, I don't know if you've ever tried to do 1/8 of an inch strips. It's not easy to trim on your trimmer. All right, paper always shifts and all that, and you never get those perfect 1/8 of an inch strips. This die does it, which is really cool, because now you can do really cool, fun color blocking and striped for backgrounds. And that's where we're going to start this evening. We're not even going to start with the suspenders. We're going to start with just using the suspenders die with the strips. All right. So basically, when you take that rectangle die and you layer it on paper, it's going to cut 4 of these strips here. So these are perfectly 1/8 of an inch strips. How awesome is that? And these are a little bit longer than an A2 card, all right? So that means if you don't get it lined up properly the first time and it overhangs and something goes wonky, it doesn't matter. All right, because they're a little bit longer and you can trim them, all right, which is awesome. So I just took the liberty of taking some scrap papers, throwing those dies on there, and cutting a bunch of strips so I could use them for tonight's projects. All right, so now I have extras. These are my extras. Okay, so we're gonna start now. we're going to start with doing a little square card here. And I just fell in love when I saw this little half moon shape. And this is kind of the t-shirt collar. And I love this because you can make one of those kind of retro t-shirts. All right. So we're going to put together a really quick and simple card here. I cut the t-shirt collar. That's that round one there. I've cut a bunch of stripes. I have a little panel here, white cardstock. All right. And then I have a panel in that corally color. I forget the name of it. It's not, maybe it's Bellini. I don't know, but I love the color. I gotta check it out now. Let me see. One moment, because it's gonna bother me. Coral. It's coral. All right. So I was right. And then we might have a couple of stripes here. All right. So I'm gonna start on my white cardstock, and we're gonna do just a striped effect on this T-shirt. All right. So it's gonna be one of those kind of retro T-shirts, right? So I'm gonna start with my collar. And my white piece of cardstock here is a 4x4, or is it 4 1/4 by 4 1/4? 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. All right. So you could do this as an A2 card, but you know me, I love my square cards. So we're going to do this. All right. So I'm going to take my collar here. And we are just going to adhere this just to the top. And I'm going to do my best to center it left to right. That's not very centered. All right. There we go. So I just cut this out of a nice bright yellow. I think that's called Tuscan. I don't know, but anyways. All right. So there is my t-shirt collar. Okay, now we're going to start with our stripes. So I am going to do the yellow one first. So just a bead of glue on there. And this is going to be the worst part of it, is getting this first stripe down flat and straight. So I am going to use my grid on my glass mat here. I got glue everywhere already. So getting that first one on is going to be the worst part of this card, all right? Because you want to get that straight, all right? So there's the first one. All right, now I'm just going to follow suit, and I'm going to just add these lovely stripes, and I'm going to butt them up against one of each other, and then we'll trim off the excess, all right? So liquid glue is going to be your friend for this, because then you can shift them. All right. So let's go the next color. I'm pretty sure I had a t-shirt like this growing up. Just saying. I think we all had this. This was like back in the day, you know, white t-shirt with those stripes on there with the colored collar. Do you remember those? I do. All right. So and you can have so much fun with the color combinations as such. Again, I just took scraps. Honestly, I have a big pile of scraps by my die cut machine, and I just picked ones that were large enough that the die would fit on and give me these lengths. And last, so I just did 6 stripes here. All right, I'm just gonna let that glue just kind of set. And while that is setting, I'm going to round my corners on this, because I just think that gives it a little bit more, a little bit more of a retro feel. So I just have my corner rounder here, and let's go ahead around these corners. Now, you know me, I just do my card fronts and then I put them on card bases afterwards. So this piece here is a 4 1/2 by 4 1/2 square, and then I can put this on a 5 by 5 card front. All right, so we've got that. All right, so the glue is probably good and set now. So all I'm going to do is flip this around, and I'm going to trim off all those little excess, which is just an easy snip. And we have perfect, look at the little stripes. Oh my gosh, how cute is that? All right, and we're going to round the corners on this one as well. Making sure I do the right corner. I mean, there's not a whole lot to this card, and it's super fun, right? Like you can see that it looks like a little t-shirt. All right, so then let's go ahead and add this on. All right, so I'm just going to center that as best I can. All right, and then I just did one of the sentiments from that stamp set. That's Radical, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on there, and this card is done. I mean, really quick and simple. So that's just one way that you can use those suspenders die, not as suspenders, but as beautiful little stripes. All right. And it'd be fun just to use them like with every occasion. You can like, even a simple Christmas card alternating those, not the collar, but just the stripes in red and greens. I mean, you could create a very simple Christmas card with those stripes. All right, so let's Radical. And card number 1 is done. All right, very simple, very retro. All right, with that little t-shirt. All right, so there is 1 using the suspenders. All right, let's move on. What do you think, guys? What do you think? All right, so this one here, again, I'm going to use those stripes as well as a decorative element. I love the color blocking kind of stripy look. So I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock, white cardstock here. And again, I'm going to, I think I'm going to do diagonal stripes on this one. All right, so again, I just did multicolored stripes here. I'm going to be very quick about this because I do want to get onto the actual suspenders and show you how they are made. But we're going to do this at an angle. All right, so this one here, I don't have to worry about doing perfectly straight. All right, you're going to get that first one down. All right, and then you're just going to butt everything up against this. All right, so, and I'm going to go, I cut these so that I had dark and light of kind of each tone. All right, so, I love dies that are very versatile and multifunctional. All right, so even though these are supposed to be suspender dies, I love the fact that you can use them for other things. All right, so, all right. I'm wondering if I put the beaded glue down first, might be a little bit easier. Yes, probably. All right, 2 more, and then I will trim off the excess. And then actually I'm going to trim this white panel down. All right, 1 more. All right, so there are my stripes. All right, I'm just going to let that glue tack down, and I'm going to grab my paper trimmer because I didn't do that. And I already have my card base ready to go on my mat. So let me just grab my paper trimmer. All right, now this one here, I did 3 3/4. So we will do this at 3.5. So I'm going to cut a little bit here and a little bit there. All right. So this is where you really want to make sure that everything is done. I think I need a new blade. I was organizing today some of my dies, and I was cutting magnet sheets, which is probably the best, not the best for your paper, your blade and your paper trimmer. But I'm determined to get all my dies on magnet sheets and such. All right, so that's 3.5, and then this is going to be 4 3/4. So I'm going to trim off just a little bit But look how fun that is, that effective, that stripe on there. Just clean and simple. Okay, so I'm going to mat this on the black. All right, so I trimmed this white panel to 3.5 by 4 3/4. The black panel then is 3 3/4 by 5, and then I have an A2 panel, and this is going to give it a real kind of retro look. And you can pop things up. I'm going to put everything flat except for my sentiment. So I'm just going to frame this in. And then our next card will be actual suspenders. All right. And we're going to make more of a classier card with the suspenders. So, which will be kind of fun. Okay, so there's that. And then let's go ahead and pop up the sentiment here. So let me just grab a few foam squares, place them behind there. All right, and let's do, I'm gonna do it up here. You're totally awesome there. And then I'll finish this up with a few little gems there. All right, very clean, very simple, but very effective. All right, so again, using those suspender stripes in different ways to do kind of some color blocking in the background. We've got the little t-shirt one, and then just this one here. All right, so let's continue on. Let's work with those actual suspenders now. Okay. So I'm going to do a very classy card here. Now, this could be a great wedding card. It could be an engagement card. It can be a graduation card. It could be a prom card. I guess you could even do a communion card with this as well because of the kind of fanciness of this. All right. So I did it as a white dress shirt with black suspenders, black bow tie. All right. So I'm going to show you how the suspenders work, and we're going to actually put it on that jean jacket. I told you that jean jacket you can use to create button-down shirts, and this is it. So we're kind of showing you how the suspenders work. You can use the suspenders just on a regular card, and put a collar on there. Do I have the? No, I don't have the packaging. But if you saw my sample from before, I should have grabbed the ones from the store. I just did it on an A2 panel, but I wanted to show you how you can use the suspenders with a jean jacket. All right, so I'm skipping up to the next one, but that's okay. All right, so for this one here, let me just pull out. This is the die for the jean jacket. All right, so let me just pull this one out and explain this before I go any further. All right, so there's not a whole lot of dyes, and that's what Ruby was saying, that she liked a lot of dyes on this, and I agree. So you got your main piece was going to create that jean jacket. It's kind of like the half shoulder. All right, then you have the collar. All right, so this is the collar, so that's going to be there. But then you can create this. So that would be the back view. All right. But then you can create the front view. So what they provided you is with the front collars. All right. So on either side, left and right, you have the pocket and the little pocket pocket flap. I was going to call it the pocket lid, but I'm like, that's not it. The pocket flap. Then you have the kind of the button down part of it. You've got the little rivets, the little buttons, or snaps, however you want to call this. Oh my God, wait till you see these ones. These are so awesome. And then you have a couple of hearts there. All right. So to do this as a dress shirt, you're going to cut one base. All right. And you can see that almost looks like the back of a jean jacket, your shoulder, right? But it's not until you put the other parts on. So let's go ahead and put the other parts on. So I'm doing this as a white dress shirt. All right. So I'm going to take my collar and let's glue that on. This is so cool, guys. Wait till you see. Like, it's such a great die set. And wait till I show you the other shirts I've made with this. And I was joking around with Craig, and I'll explain why. Because I said this is a shirt, this is a dye that I'm going to be able to use over and over again. I'm going to be able to use for my son. I'm going to be able to use for my husband. They have totally, completely different styles, but I can use the same dye, and I'll explain that when I show you my samples. So, all right, so that just gives that little raised effect for the collar. All right, so we've got that on. The next piece I'm going to put on is the kind of the button down piece of it. Now everything is angled perfectly. So you can see that this piece here is angled here and it's got a straight edge here. That's going to meet down in the corner here. All right, so you're just going to meet those up. I know it's going to look a little wonky, and I'll bring this up to the camera because I know the white on white is not really doing its best to show you. It's going to look wonky, but once we put the collar on, it's all going to make sense. So you're just going to match up that straight edge on the left-hand side and that bottom straight edge on the bottom. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're just lining it up. I also made this into a shaped card as well. Again, the sample's at the store, but so versatile. All right, so we've got our little front button down there. All right, then we have the two collar pieces, all right, the left and the right. Now they kind of match up with the, again, straight edge on the straight edge, and then you kind of have a curved, and that's going to match on the collar as well. So you just want to kind of dry fit, and that little bit here will match up, and I just like to tuck it just slightly underneath that button down, all right? So I'm going to bring that up so you can see the collar there, all right? You can see it kind of taking effect now. All right, so let's get this on. It's just a little tip of that. I just tuck it underneath that little button down piece. All right, so there's that one. And then we're going to take our other piece of collar. And again, you'll notice it just lines right up along the edge here. All right. And they're going to meet in the middle. And now we have our little colored shirt. All right. Let me get this down. I'm going to bring it up closer to the camera so you can all see, because I'm sorry, white, probably not the best to show you how this all works first, but so I'm just going to get that on and let me bring that up. All right. Look at that lovely white shirt with a little black fleck on the collar. Man. All right, I'm just not going to worry about it. All right, let's get the buttons on there. So they do the little indentations for where the buttons go. So you can see a circle there, and a circle there. Easy peasy. And again, you can have fun with buttons and what colors, but because this is a white dress shirt, I did white buttons. All right, so let me just get those. I'm just going to put a dab of glue there. And we're going to pick up these buttons, and I'm going to show you the detail on these buttons. They are just amazing. I got to say, Hero Arts is really kind of hitting it out of the ballpark. Their collections have been really great. They're back. Oh, I lost. Oh, no, there it is. They're kind of back to where they used to be back in the day, which I love so much. Very kind of fun, trendy designs. All right, let me just bring up those buttons. Look at, oh my gosh, how cute, right? Okay, so there is the jean jacket done up as a shirt. I'm gonna put that to the side and let's go to our suspenders. We're gonna do a black suspender on here. And we're gonna kind of do as at a diagonal here. And that's gonna create that lovely suspender. We don't need the other suspender because we don't see the other shoulder. So this is the base piece, all right? Oops, let's get it in camera view, Brenda. All right, there we go. All right, so you can see that there's little indentations there. We're just gonna build texture on here, all right? So I'm just gonna fill this up with glue and then just lay my pieces on there. I think that's the easiest rather than trying to put glue all on those little individual pieces. Okay. So I cut the base in black and then I cut the strips in black, all right? And again, this is just going to create some texture on here. And I do recommend using liquid glue for this, just so that you can get things in place and you can shimmy it if it's not in place. All right, so now I'm just going to layer these on and getting glue everywhere because I glue on the bottom of my fingers. Now, I'm not too concerned that I'm going right to the ends on these ones and they overhang because I know I'm going to trim off. So, okay, I think my glue dried a little too quickly there. All right, so I do have a little bit of excess glue, but that will dry clear. And let me just bring up, there's my suspender now. All right, so it's got a real nice finished look to it. All right, so there we go, nice finished look. All right, now we're going to glue that right onto our little dress shirt here. And we're just going to put it at an angle. You want to overhang it on the top and the bottom. Let that glue tack down, and then we will trim that off. All right, so while the glue is tacking down, we've got the little suspender clips. All right, so we're going to glue that in. I did this in silver. So we're just going to kind of glue that across and let that tack down. And then I also did a bow tie, all right? So we can put that little bow tie right on there. And this becomes more of a little classier card. Like I said, perfect for kind of all different little occasions. So I just put a little bit of glue in the center of this, let that tack down, and then you can kind of pop this up to give it some dimension. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to flip this around now, and I'm going to just trim off the excess now. I'm going to actually use my bigger scissors. Okay, maybe my bigger scissors will not work for this one here because I got to get in. All right, take a look. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. All right. So a very fun little masculine card. And then I was just going to put this on a kind of a blue background here. All right. And you could make this into a wedding card. You could, you know, first communion, prom, graduation, so much. And it's a masculine card. All right. So again, perfect for that age group that we're kind of always struggling with. So I'll finish that off camera, but how cute is that? All right. So there is that suspenders. Oh, I have one more with the suspenders. Oh my gosh. Okay. I wanted to do, show you the other collars that were in there. So let me just move this. So there are other collars. So in the suspender one, we use the t-shirt collar. I'm going to use this one, which to me is like a polo top, a rugby shirt. All right. So again, this is how I'm going to use it as stripes. All right. Then we'll get into the other shirts that I've created. And then we'll get into the jean jackets. All right. So this one here, I thought I would make it into a polo shirt or like a rugby shirt. Starting with an A2 white panel. All right. This is the collar. All right. It's just so much fun. All right. So I'm going to glue this on. So this is like, I remember when I was in high school, all the guys had these shirts where they were white with stripes on there, colored collar, those rugby shirts. I remember that. So I'm going to line this up right to the top. I forgot I was going to do this one. All right, center that as best I can. That wasn't centered best. Okay, so there is the collar. All right, now what I did is I cut that out in a very light skin colored piece as well. So I'm going to put that so it actually looks like someone's actually wearing that. So I cut the collar out in that light color, and then I took the negative from that so I can set it in as a a puzzle piece. So now it looks like actually someone's wearing the shirt. And I cut it a little bit long, so I will trim that off. All right, so that is our skin tone there. All right, so that's going to be the neck that you see. Okay, then we're going to do some stripes on here, and I'm going to show you how to use the pocket. All right, so, oh, there goes my basketball. All right, so we're going to do stripes on the rugby shirt, and let's see if I can get this straight. All right, looks straight to me. I only did 4 stripes this time, so you know what this reminds me of? Who watches Scooby-Doo or used to watch Scooby-Doo? Does this not look like oh, what was his name? Not Shaggy, the blonde. The blonde guy. What was his name? But he had a white shirt with a blue collar. This is what it reminds me of. Oh my gosh. There's Daphne, Velma, Shaggy. Oh, what was the other guy's name? Someone help me out here. I used to watch Scooby-Doo all the time when I was younger. Fred, that was his name. That's right. Thank you, Amy. Fred, that's what it reminds me of. It looks like Fred. Oh, all right. So there is my stripe on my shirt. Now I did cut a pocket out in blue, and we're going to put it right on top of my stripes here. All right. So we're going to create a little, I'm going to cut the excess off first. All right, there is that. All right, so let's put our little pocket now. And then now you can have some fun. You could put little things in the pocket as well. You can make the pocket into a pocket, right? A real pocket. So we're just going to put that on right over top. I could have popped that up a little bit as well, but I'm just going to hold it down for that glue to tack. All right, so there is our cute little shirt card front. All right, but I thought let's put some little flair on there. All right, so this is where that little got flair, and I just cut a basketball, and I'm going to put a basketball on the little pocket. All right, so I just cut the 2 pieces, the base in black and then the overlay in kind of a terracotta. And why don't we pop this guy up? I didn't do a sentiment for this one. But now we can put the little basketball on the pocket, and there we go. Another fun little masculine card, quick and simple, using that suspender die as the stripes. And then that is the collar on there. All right. How much fun is that? All right. So now we're going to get to the jean jacket. I'm going to bring these all back at the very end to show you them all. Let's get going on the jean jacket. What time is it? Oh, we're good for time. Okay. Actually, yeah, I'll do the jean jacket first, and then I'll show you my samples of the shirts. Okay, so the first one here, we're doing the back side, all right? So this will be looking at the back of somebody that's wearing a jean jacket. So I cut the base, all right, and I cut the collar. Then I've got some flare pins to put on it, all right? So we're going to start with that, but we're going to use the stencils with this, all right? Because this is where the magic happens with the jean, all right, the denim. So I'm going to start with just adding that collar on there, and that just gives it a little bit of dimension, all right? So I like to put that on. You don't need to put this extra piece on there, but I do. It just creates that extra dimension. So I just cut this out of a soft blue. And for those, I know someone always asks me, what color did you use? Let me tell you. This one was the Cascade. All right, so that's the color I used from Spellbinders for this one. Okay, so there is that. Now we're going to get into the stenciling part of this to make this into the denim. So I'm going to grab my grip mat here. All right, the grip mat is just to hold my piece in place while I do the stenciling on here. It's just a fun little tool to have. This way I don't have to tape things down. And now let's go into our stencils. All right, there are 5 stencils in the stencil bundle, all right? There is one that will just, you could just not do the die cut and just stencil a base coat onto your card front. All right, you could just do that in, but I love having the die because it's going to give you all the little details. All right, so you have the solid one. Okay, so you could technically cut this out of white, and then you could stencil or use the stencil and color this in as blue. You could just place this on the front of your card, stencil it in as well. So we're just omitting that one because I used the die to cut it out. All right. Then, like I said, you are going to have 2 dies that are going to be for the front of the car or front of the jacket. So we're not going to use this one because we're going to do the back. So we're going to put them to the side. And then there are 2 stencils for the back view of there. Now, one is going to be bigger than the other in terms of the details, all right? So you always want to start with the one that has more stencil area, all right? And then to the one that's got smaller area. Now, it actually says on here, it will tell you the name, and then it says back 1 and back 2, all right? So they have it on there. Makes it really, really easy. All right, so let's take our back 1, and you are just going to line this up. All right. So that looks good to me. We're going to stick that down. I am going to use a magnet just to hold that down. All right. Now, when you're doing your coloring, all right, you always want to start with your lighter color and then work your way to the darker color. So, because the lighter color is going to be the base, and then you're going to work to a darker color. Now, I'm just going to use blendable inks. I have my distress inks here, and I just picked a couple of different blues. I have Uncharted Mariner, I have Stormy Sky, I have Salty Ocean, and Faded Jeans just seemed obvious to use. So I think I'm going to go in with Stormy Sky and then go into Faded Jeans. All right. So I do need to clean my brush here. I was working on a class video today, which we needed blue, and we had to use a very, very dark blue. So I just want to clean this brush. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start with my lighter color, which is Stormy Sky. Okay. So I'm going to pick that up. And we're just going to go, and you know me, in rotating motions, we're just going to go over top all the areas. And build up that color. Now you will notice I'm holding a few parts of my stencil down. I just don't want anything to lift because there's a lot of openings and all that. So I am being very careful on applying the ink and being, very gentle with my blending. Okay. So there is the first one. All right. Are you ready for the reveal? Do-do-do-do. All right, so there is the first kind of shadowing of this. I also think this would really great to create camouflage as well. Just saying. So if you had the, started with more of a softer green and then worked with your kind of darker greens, I think you can make some really cool camouflage as well. Just saying. All right. This set is just keeps on going and going and what you can do with this. All right. So that's the first one. Now I'm going to grab the second one. This is back 2. We're just going to align that up. This is going to give you the stitching detail. Okay, so there is that. And I'm going to put that. I don't know if Sue is still on. I know Sue said hello at the very beginning. Sue, if you're still watching, I know that you had mentioned in one of my What's Up Wednesdays about the magnet. I saw the comment after the fact. These are really, 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 really strong magnets from My Sweet Petunia, and it holds. All right, so we do have them in the store. They are super, super strong, great for stencil work. They're meant for the Okay, there you are, Sue. I didn't mean to ignore your question like from 2 weeks ago. I saw it after the fact and then I forgot. And so now I can tell you. But we do have them, but they're super strong. You don't need multiple magnets. And I just love the fact that it's got these two handles on there, which helps it to pull it up because they are so strong. So, okay, we're going to go into faded jeans now. All right, so this is a bit of a darker blue. So I'm going to load up my brush. I'm using the same brush. I'm cool with that. All right. And now we're going to do this detail. So I'm just gonna, I say this all the time when I'm working with stencils and blending through a stencil. I always go in both motions, clockwise and counterclockwise. All right, this way you're hitting all the edges of the stencil. All right, so you're gonna get a much cleaner image from that. All right, so I think I got it all. All right, let's pull off that stencil and da 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 da. All right, we've got that lovely shadowing. Now, if you find that shadowing is a little too crisp on there, you could take whatever ink is here and you can tone that down a little bit. All right. So we can do that, but that's going to give that lovely shadowing and that just the details on that jean jacket. I love it. Oh my gosh. So there is that. Okay, so let's have some fun now with just doing some decorations on here. So from that pin set, where did I do with it? The Got Flair. All right. So again, I just cut some things out and we're going to just decorate the back of this. I just thought because this is a jean jacket and we're all crafty people, I thought I would do kind of the crafty ones. All right. So we have the little scissors. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. All right, so we're going to glue those together. I also did the little heart, and then I did the little paint palette. Now, the paint palette has the little die to cut all the little paint pieces. I did not cut them out of colored cardstock. I figured it was just as easy to grab Copic markers or my alcohol markers and color them really, really quickly. So that's what I'm going to do while they're still in the tray. So I'm just going to just take multiple colors here. Ooh, that one's a little light. They're really tiny, but they're really cute when it's all together. Trust me. Trust me. All right, and let's do purple. Okay, so let's put this all together now. So I'm going to do the paint palette here. These are going to make the little flare pins that we're going to put on the jean jacket. So I'm just going to put a dot of glue in each of the little kind of wells of the paint palette here. I'm going to pick these up and place them right in. If you do not have one of these little wax tip picker uppers, oh my gosh, you're missing out. These things are awesome. They make life so much easier when you have to place things. Just saying. Oh, I'm missing one. I got to color one more. I see it. They're so small. There we go. All right, let's do pink on this one. Oops, wrong side. All right, there's my little paint palette. That was not difficult to put together. It looks difficult, but really it's not. Okay, the scissors, you get the left and the right. The right-hand side will have the little detail, the little rivet of where it joins together. So you just want to make sure that one is on top. So, and because I'm using specialty paper here, it might take a while to just tack down. So we're just going to glue that. And then the hearts is a two-tone. All right, everything has a little bit of dimension. So the smaller heart is going to sit on top of the bigger heart with a little shadowing on there. All right, so these are the little pins. All right, there we go. Now you could have some fun with these. You could put glossy accents on top of them to make them shiny. I will do that after the fact, but we have the 3 pins here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now, and we're just going to kind of attach them to the back of the jacket here. We want to put, where do I want it? You've got flare. There's our little crafty. All right. I'm liking the positioning of that. So I'm going to pop up the sentiment. The other thing that you can do with these guys too is some of them, because they're two-toned or layers, you can do the bottom layer in a metallic color, and that's really going to give the illusion of it being one of those pins. All right. All right, you've got flare. Do I want this at an angle? I think I do. All right, and these ones I'm just going to glue on. I love these little scissors. I mean, how cute are those? I mean, I know that I'll be using this set over and over again because of just the sizing of them. They're just so darn cute. All right, so, whoops, stick on. All right, so there is our jean jacket, the back view of the jean jacket with the little flare pins on there. All right, so there is the back view. Now we're going to do the front view. All right, so we'll use the other stencil. So let me just put that to the side. And let's continue on. All right, so this one here, you have to cut a little bit more. I'm actually not going to make this into a jean. Well, I guess I am. I'm going to make it more into a denim shirt. All right, so again, I have a sentiment here. We'll come back to that. But I did cut out all the pieces. All right, so this one I did in a darker blue. So this one I think is Celestial. Yeah, Celestial. So I did that one as a darker one. So we're going to do that. Then I have the collar. I have the front piece there with the buttons. We have the collar pieces. I did a pocket with the little flap on there. The rivets I'm going to bring these up just so that you can see, not the rivets or the buttons, however you want to call them. I did them in a copper mirrored paper. Sorry, I know that's not focusing on there. But anyways, they look so realistic. And I have some flare pins on this one. This one's going to be more of a masculine card. All right, so we're going to put it together and then we'll do our stencil work on top. All right, so again, I cut everything out of blue. And you're just going to piece this together. And this is going to go the same way as the white dress shirt. All right, I always start with the back collar. And then I go to this piece here. And again, that's going to line up right to the bottom and the left-hand edge. All right. So just line that right up to the bottom, left-hand edge, straight edge, straight edge. Oops, I'm not even on camera. Straight edge, straight edge. All right. And then it's going to go at a wonky angle. It's going to look weird, but trust me, it will all line up. Then I like to take the left collar. Oh, that one moved on me. All right, we're just going to go with it. And we're going to line this up. Again, straight edge to straight edge. This one here, because my collar shifted up, so I'm going to shift this down just a little bit. There we go. And then our right collar. All right, so you can see we've got a lovely denim shirt or jean jacket buttoned up. All right. Then we're going to do the little flap pocket, and we're going to glue that on. And let's glue the pocket on now. Sure, right about there looks good. All right, there is our little denim jacket front view. I'm going to wait to put the buttons on. I'm going to do the shading first, all right? So now we're going to move to the front stencils. All right. Again, there's two. They're labeled front one and front two. All right. So I'm going to start with front one. Or yes, front one. Maybe I should have lined the pocket up with this guy. All right. I'm going to have to, the pocket, I put my pocket up a little too high. All right. That's okay. We'll work with it. So your pocket, if you're going to use a die and put the pocket on, use the stencil to line up your pocket. I did not know that, so just saying, all right? So I'm going to actually put my magnet there. I'll shift up my magnet or my stencil to do the design on the pocket, all right? So no worries. You just learn from my mistakes. That's all. All right. So this, and you know what I love about this is that the stencil is very forgiving. So if you do not have it lined up perfectly, it's okay. You almost have a little bit of leeway on all these sides with that. So okay, so I'm just going to cover up my pocket stenciling detail and I'll come back to that. Okay, so I'm just going to do one color of ink with this one. I'm going to do Faded Jeans and then I'm going to do Faded Jeans again. The cool thing about Distress inks is that you can layer them on top and they'll get darker as you layer them on top. So even if you did not have a whole range of blue inks, you don't need to. You just have one ink. So I'm just going to use Faded Jeans on this one. All right, so let's load that up and let's go ahead and stencil. All right, so just a light stenciling. Again, this was a darker cardstock that I started off with, so it's going to give you kind of a different look as well. So, all right, so we've just got some light shading, and you can see the tone on tone. This is really close. It's just awesome. All right, so I'm going to line up my pocket now and just do my brush right over top of it. All right, there we go. Okay, let me just bring that. Look how awesome that is. All right. Ah. Okay, stencil number two. I get so excited about the silliest things, but this is just awesome. All right, we're going to do the same thing with this one now. All right, so lining this up. Again, I'm going to cover the pocket detail, and I'll move that up in a second. And again, I'm going to use just Faded Jeans with this. And again, if you were using two different color inks, you start with your lighter color and then your darker color. All right, so all right, and now I'm going to do the pocket. So I'm just going to, and the pocket's easy to realign. They really have made this quite simple to do. Okay. All right, loving it. All right, so this one here, you can see the lovely detail. It's not as pronounced as my first one because I went with a darker cardstock. But you can kind of see that it's got that kind of worn look, right? So there is that. Now, I do want to show you something else. And I know I'm surprised no one has asked about it yet. So there are little like cut, you can see that that's cut. And there's a reason for that, all right? And that's for additional shading. So I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper here. Okay, so what you can do now is if you want to do additional shading, you can just put a little piece of scrap paper there. And now I can take my brown, my blue ink and I can hit the edge of there and it's going to give that shadowing because it's the arm part, right? So you can definitely do that. So that is where those pieces, that's why those, they have the little slits there that you can actually do that. It's just going to give that the die cut even more of a pronounced look. All right, um, so there's that. So you can just see there's light shadowing there now. So that's where, and you can, hit the edges as well. You can go to town on this. All right, let's put those little buttons on. All right, so we have the die itself will cut 4 buttons at a time. There are 3 buttons on the lapel of there, and then on the little pocket. All right, so let's stick these on. These just, oopsie, that one came right off. Stick. And we got one more here. So this one, like I said, is I'm going to make more of a masculine, and we're going to put some masculine flare pins on there, but take a look. Oh, look at those. Aren't they awesome? Again, you can have some fun with them, right? In all the different colors. But I thought the copper was good. They looked like little rivets on denim jeans, right? So, okay, let's put some flare on here. I have my little title, You're One of a Kind. I am going to put this kind of here. I'm going to put this on a card front, obviously. I'm going to put that, oh, where do I want to put this? Maybe I'll wait. All right. So this is more of those little flare pins. I have the little smiley emoji here. So we'll do that. And wait till you see my other shirts I have. Oh my gosh. I wanted to do more, but I had to cook dinner. All right, so we've got the little smiley. Then I thought I would do a little sports theme on here. So we have the baseball, and then we've got to put the stitching on the baseball. And again, on all these, the indentations are on there, so it really makes lining up really simple to do. I'm so excited. Baseball's starting soon too. Will this be our year, guys, with the Jays? I don't know. I hope so. All right, so there is my little baseball. And then we have, of course, have the football. All right. So again, you're going to have the stitching that goes down the center and then the stripes on either end. These little icons would work great in the waffle flower postage collage die, just saying. That just popped in my head right now. I think that would be fun to use these little pieces in there as well. All right, my little football is done. Super cute. All right. So I'm thinking when I put this on there, I'm going to put that there, and then we're going to put, I don't even know if I want them on there. I don't know. Okay, I'm not going to put them on quite yet. I'm going to get it on a card front and then I'll decide. But how cute is that, right? That really looks like a denim shirt, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. All right, so let me just put that one to the side. I'll finish that one off camera. I don't know if I want the little pins on there or not. Okay, let me just bring back what we've created so far, and then I'm going to show you my other ones. All right, so that is the jean jacket back and then the front. All right, so that is made into the jean. All right, then of course the suspenders we had, the suspenders die, that comes with all the additional little collars for the shirts. All right, the bow tie, the suspenders. This is the rugby shirt, all right, that we use that from. That's a suspender die. We use the suspenders as a little stripe detail on there. All right, we use the pocket from the jean jacket on there, and that's one of the little pins. Oops, this is supposed to go behind here. All right, then we did kind of two kind of retro feeling. We made this one into a t-shirt with a rounded collar. with the stripes. And then this one here, we just use the stripes as color blocking. All right. So those were the cards we created tonight. But like I said, that denim jacket dye you can make shirts with, right? We made the little dress shirt here. So in my household, I have two extremes. All right. I have my son, is 24 years old. He's totally into plaid, flannels. I mean, that's just what he wears all the time. All right. So if you have plaid paper, you can make these wonderful plaid shirts. All right. So this one is very Christmassy because this was a Christmas plaid. But look how effective this is. Look at how there's my plaid flannel shirt. All right. So I just cut that out. I put the pocket on. We've got the little brown buttons. All right. So this is definitely a Josh shirt. Josh is my son. This is definitely a Josh shirt. All right. Then I have the other extreme, which is my husband, who loves the flashy. He loves Robert Graham. If you know who Robert Graham is as a designer, it is ridiculously priced dress shirts, but he loves them because of the flair to them, the design work of them. Honestly, sometimes I'm like, no, you cannot wear that because it's so flashy. All right. But I showed my husband, I'm like, and he's like, that is totally a Josh shirt. And then I'm like, and this one, he's like, that's a Robert Graham shirt. All right. So here's my Robert Graham shirt. For those that know Robert Graham, you'll understand why. But very flashy and just unique designs. The collars are always different. Their cuffs are always different patterns and just crazy. So this is my Robert Graham shirt. Different colored buttons. This is totally Robert Graham. But as you can see, you can really customize this denim jacket to make the shirts for all the people. All right, the flannels as well as the funky dress shirts. All right, so there are all my samples with all this fabulous products. All right, so I don't know which. I love that jean jacket. I love the suspenders, and just so much fun to create with them. So this is all part of Hero Arts, all right? So all you see that I made this evening is from Hero Arts, and it's all under our March arrivals, I believe. We just got more jean jackets in, and I believe we have more coming in as well. The suspenders are coming in. So if you can't find them on the website, no worries. There are on order. Just let us know if it's not there. And if you want it, let us know and we can set it aside. Our order should be here next week at the beginning of the week. All right. So just let us know. All right. That is it for me, everyone, this evening. Thanks for joining in. I will finish these off camera and I'll post my finished samples if I get them done this evening, or I'll post them tomorrow morning, so you can see them all done with the little embellishments, gems, and on card bases and such. So that's it for me, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and hopefully I inspired you a little bit. Until next time, everyone, have yourself a fabulous night. We'll talk to you soon.